Artificial intelligence is now the non-negotiable foundation of national competitiveness and business survival. But that foundation rests on a fragile supply chain. The models, computing power, and data driving this intelligence are concentrated in a few hands. As global trade tensions rise, this creates a dependency crisis that threatens to stall long-term innovation. This data reveals the geographical origin of the world's leading AI models. Nearly 70% originate strictly from the United States. Another 25% originate in China. This leaves the entire rest of the globe to innovate within a 5% sliver of the remaining market. This forces nations to rely on black box algorithms they do not control. If geopolitical turmoil cuts off access, their digital core halts. Furthermore, these proprietary models often embed cultural or regulatory biases, conflicting with local norms and laws. Sovereign AI provides an alternative, the ability for a country or organization to develop intelligence using local infrastructure, data, and models. However, most organizations currently misunderstand this mandate. They treat sovereignty as a defensive IT chore rather than a strategic opportunity. Currently, decisions are driven primarily by compliance, checking boxes for regulations like GDPR or basic cybersecurity. Many organizations are focusing on locking data away in a digital vault rather than putting it to work. By treating sovereign AI strictly as a risk mitigation exercise, companies play not to lose. In doing so, they surrender their ability to write the rules of the new digital economy. The biggest hurdle to adoption is the belief that sovereignty requires isolation. Few entities have the resources to build a multi-billion-dollar tech stack from the ground up. Evidence shows that only 1/3 of an organization's AI workloads require strict, localized sovereign oversight. The remaining 2/3 can operate within a flexible, hybrid ecosystem. This framework allows organizations to combine the scale of global cloud providers with the specialized oversight of local neoclouds. This hybrid continuum allows an enterprise to maintain innovation speed while applying strict local governance exactly where the data is most sensitive. Because AI supplier selection now involves weighing geopolitical risk against supply chain resilience, the decision must move out of the IT department and into the boardroom. Currently, only 15% of organizations treat AI sovereignty as a board-level priority. The vast majority still delegate these high-stakes decisions to compliance or infrastructure teams. When the C-suite takes ownership, the focus shifts to active value creation. Compliance becomes a baseline, allowing the organization to turn data sovereignty into a lever for differentiation. We see this in healthcare, where trusted sovereign networks allow hospitals to safely pool patient records. This collaboration creates massive local datasets for drug discovery that would be impossible under traditional, siloed architectures. Ultimately, sovereign AI acts as an engine for local economic expansion. It allows domestic industries to build customized models and capture profit pools that usually flow to overseas providers. Once leadership aligns on the strategy, they must audit their digital foundations to identify systemic threats hidden across their applications and platforms. Research reveals an architectural disconnect. While 60% of organizations apply sovereignty oversight to data, only 22% extend it to AI models. This means organizations build impenetrable data vaults, but allow unsecured foreign-governed intelligence to operate inside them. True sovereignty requires a dynamic architecture. Organizations must embed controls, not just in the hardware and the data centers, but directly into the models and agents making the decisions. The vanguard of this movement is found in highly regulated sectors. Aerospace, defense, and the public sector are currently the most mature in adopting full-stack sovereignty. The hardware reality of this shift was clear last year when Denmark's king and industry leaders physically connected the country's first AI supercomputer, marking a national commitment to local infrastructure. Europe has become the epicenter for sovereign action, with strict regional regulations forcing a hybrid approach to digital autonomy. This momentum is expanding across the Middle East and Asia-Pacific, where nations are deploying sovereign initiatives to capture domestic value and fuel digital transformation. These regions are demonstrating that capturing AI's value locally translates directly into measurable national advantage and GDP expansion. Choosing sovereignty converts a nation's greatest strategic vulnerability into its most powerful engine for innovation. This guarantees that artificial intelligence is something built for people, reflecting their language, culture, and values, rather than something imposed on them. In an era of intense geopolitical uncertainty, standing still is a fatal risk. The future belongs to those who build it, and they will build it sovereign.